Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle from Peaslovencarrots, back here again on Peas in a Podcast, Season 2, Episode 3. I'm so excited. Could you believe that it's Episode 3?
And I'm still the co-host. I have not been fired. This
That's
is
not
Mimic
true.
Light
She was
Mom.
fired, but she came back anyway.
Okay. No, I was hired for the full season, okay? So
We're going to
that's
terminate.
that.
We might terminate that contract. We have special clauses.
No,
Ellie already
no
said
can
Ellie
do.
is suing me for wrongful termination.
Excuse me, I
Oh my
want a
God.
vote from everyone. Do you want me to stay as a co-host or not?
Nobody's going to vote not. They're afraid of you.
They're not afraid. They love me.
They do love you. They do love you. Actually, today's a big
Tell the
day
truth.
because tomorrow is my birthday.
Tomorrow's my birthday. But I told Danielle that
It is
even
her
though
birthday.
it's my birthday, I could celebrate with her because I was born and I have a birthday, she got to be born. So she's the greatest thing that ever happened to us.
Baruch Hashem. I hope you
And-
heard that, Eric and Benjamin.
Well, as a girl.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We understand. We understand. Okay, we need to just jump right in because our podcasts have a little bit of a reputation of going very long.
Yeah,
So we're just going to jump right in. Our guest today, I'm actually really excited. Like when I first started the podcast and I was talking to this person, I'm like, you're going to be a guest. You're going to do it. This is somebody I probably talk to like multiple times a week. And sometimes I'm like, I only have 5 minutes and then we end up talking for an hour. Like I cannot hang up the phone. She is like a barrel of wisdom. Also, we work together in like a few different ways. But just like somebody that I personally admire professionally and as a person.
very pretty, too.
It's true. We have chanie Nyman.
Thank you for having me, Danielle.
Thank you for being here. Chanie is the editor of Family Table, Mishpacha's
Yep.
Family Table,
Yep.
and the editor-in-chief of kosher.com.
That's right.
Which is like, you're like, oh, okay, no. These are like 2 full-time jobs
It's
that
kind of
she
crazy.
does, and she's also a mom and takes care of her whole family.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of crazy.
Chanie is a CEO of like an umbrella organization.
Oh my gosh,
basically.
my stomach just dropped. Is that me?
No, it's really wild. And like, she really is the perfect person for the topic of delegating because, you know, it's not like literally you cannot do it alone. You
That's
cannot
right,
run
no.
a magazine and run a website and run your family
There
all
has
by
to
yourself.
be some place that you let go.
And
Just say,
I personally watch Chanie delegate to others and even to myself. And like her skill level is unbelievable. Like how she knows what to delegate to each person. And this is what I learned the most from you, Chanie, which is why I really thought you were the perfect person. Because I think there are probably a lot of people that are skilled in delegating. Meaning like they can give over jobs easily. They have tools of how to give people what job, things like that. But not everybody can do it so diplomatically and so kindly.
I can't do it in any way.
And no, personally, I also can't. Delegating is very hard for me. But the diplomacy behind delegating is a piece that really could be missing a lot that
For sure.
is not missing for you. They really, we
Thank
talk
you.
about this a lot.
I
You
know.
know how I
Thank
feel
you.
about it.
Yes.
Sometimes when I have, like, I will often like call Chanie and be like, okay, how should I navigate this situation? Because it's not my skill. It's just, I'm not a delegator. I'm not like overly diplomatic because I don't understand why people's feelings would get hurt in one area or not because I'm not.
Right. Yeah. No,
And-
it's not easy.
And okay, so I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Me too. I have
you.
my notes. I'm ready.
It's true. Mim is sitting here with a pad.
Yes.
And it says how to delegate and it's highlighted.
And it says Mima in pink.
right.
Look, I have every color pen because I have to make notes and highlighter because I don't know how to delegate.
You know why though? Because the way, obviously this is a stereotype and it doesn't exist because you're a woman and it's not true of you. But like, I think for the most part, stereotypically, women are not delegators and men are not multitaskers.
Right.
So,
True.
and they are opposing like midos really.
Right. We just want to do everything.
Right.
We think we could.
We think we could, but like coming to that realization that we can't is literally the best thing that can happen to you.
Right. No, it's that there's no other option. We think we
Right.
could do everything because we know exactly how we want to do it. And sometimes it takes like 30 seconds to explain what you need to whoever it is you're
which
delegating
is, by the
to.
way, my downfall. Those 30 seconds.
Those 30 seconds is most people's downfall.
Right.
Really?
For sure. Because it's like, I can't even explain what I need to do.
Forget it.
Let me just do it. And that job will take you 2 hours, but
Right.
you could have saved yourself those 2 hours by just...
You literally hit the... See, this is why Chanie for the job. No, that is my issue, is the explaining.
Explaining, I know.
But like, I even, honestly, like even between me and Ellie, I could have that issue sometimes. Like, he'll be like, okay, I'll run to the supermarket for you. What do you need? And I'll literally be like, forget it. I'll just go. And I'm not upset at him.
Right.
It's me. But like the 30 seconds of me sitting down to write the list, I'll be like, no, like, but it doesn't make any sense because it could take me an hour.
Totally.
The time to get there, the time to shop, the time to get back home.
Totally.
And he could have done that.
But you know what? It's all about hand holding. So then you say, call me when you get to the store, or when you're standing in front of the mustards, call me because I'll tell you exactly which mustard I want, or it's WhatsApp pictures all day long. That's the only way we survive.
Okay, so you know what? Let's start from the beginning. Can you just start off telling us what you do for Family Table and what you do for Pusher.com and the amount of like delegating that's required there. And then we'll go ahead because people sent in so many questions so quickly because I really do think delegating, listen, this is applicable to everybody because stay-at-home moms need to delegate because running a house is a business.
Right.
There should be no stigma ever in a woman saying she's a stay-at-home mom because stay-at-home mom is a full-time job.
Totally.
And when you take on a job, and I work, and my work is part-time, and my family always comes first, but you know what? Nobody in this world could say that they are working not at the expense of anything in their home. It's not possible. You can't do both. So if you have a job, you have to delegate some of your at-home responsibilities. And if you work full-time at home, then you're managing an entire house. Like,
I don't like the stay-at-home mom expression because a woman is not working and like for money does not mean she's not working.
Right.
She's working on enhancing.
But it just has a bad connotation because of people's mindsets. But if you could just shift the way people thought about the word stay-at-home mom, it wouldn't be a bad term.
For the most part,
I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom.
As
I'm going to
when
graduate.
I did stay at home, I did work on and off. But when I would be home, I always took care of trying to enhance my children's and my husband's and my family life.
It's your focus.
And you did.
Right.
It was your job.
Right.
You took it seriously. And,
exactly.
And by the way, it's a full-time job, but not full-time like 9 to 5, 24 hours.
Oh, for sure.
And it never shuts off, and you can't escape those responsibilities.
Well, I made you guys go to Daddy if you woke up in the middle of the night. That I taught them very young. Go to Daddy.
Right. That's true. She did. That's true. So I guess tell us what you do for both of these.
So that's my number one question I get, especially for Family Table. People will say like, oh, so you make all the food? Oh, so you eat all day? Oh, so you're at every photo shoot?
They don't understand.
At this point, there was a time that I made all the food. There was a time I went to every photo shoot, but that's where delegating comes in, is that we move past that and we get,
grow.
We set up systems for each of those components to, that they can be successful without me physically being there. So what do I do for Family Table?
Why is that important?
Why is what?
Why is it important? Right. Why is the system important? Why is it important that you be able to not be there?
Okay. If I was at every single photo shoot, that would be a few days out of my month, every single month, that I wouldn't be working. Because when I'm at a photo shoot, I'm present, mentally present and physically present. And I'm not, my work day isn't happening the same way it would be if I were at my desk.
So you actually have to delegate so that you can get more things done.
Exactly.
So that you can grow also within your field.
And that more can happen in my workday. Bigger, larger, more, interesting ideas can happen.
But you can grow.
Exactly.
In business.
Right, in business.
Right.
So,
But still, the day of a photo shoot is always in my head as like, oh, okay, Thursday is a photo shoot this week, so I'm on call. So every single time I have a photo shoot, they're sending me pictures the entire time.
So that's those WhatsApp days. That's
the WhatsApp days, exactly.
That's the hand-holding part of delegating.
For sure. So you have to be able to trust at the same time as hand-holding.
So would you say that, okay, fine. So that's what you do for Mishpacha. So Mishpacha is...
Well, yeah. So, basically what I do for Mishpacha Family Table is I manage the whole section. So it's being on top of all of the components in the section, giving out assignments, and having the vision for the section, where I want it to go, what I want it to look like,
themes, colors.
Yeah, for sure. Inspiration and the vibe that I want readers to get when they're looking at Family Table.
But it's everything from the layout of the articles, the order of the articles, who's in what articals, the type of food, making sure that there's not an entire thing of chicken.
That's a huge thing.
Variety
for kinds of different skill levels, different interest level, and different cuisine. If you want to stay traditional, if we want to go branch out a little bit, just making that all flow within a year.
You are the last stop in all of these aspects, meaning like you have your hands in every part of the magazine. Like that's what it means to be the editor, right? Like you have your hands in the graphics, you have your hand in the layout, in the theme, in the design. So
I always tell people, like, they always say like, oh, what are you working on right now? Are you up to Hanukkah? We're in August now. Like, are you up to Hanukkah? And I'm like, well, actually, yes, because I planned Hanukkah in January, because I planned the whole 2019, but I'm also working on next week's magazine.
Right.
So I'm working like 6 months ahead, or even more than that, and 1 week ahead at the same time. So it's juggling those two.
Oh, like when it's actually going to print.
Right, when it's going to print, that's like, very heavily working on that, and also working on like, oh my gosh, I have an idea for Hanukkah.
Right, so you're really dealing with a lot of moving pieces because you have to delegate every part of what happens here.
Right.
You're an it's your vision, and then you have to oversee that vision gets implemented with a ton of different components and parts.
And amazing team members.
Right.
There's no way to do it without
It's true. I'm on the chat. That's
right.
They're very talented.
Yes.
That really was a dream to have like our Family Table WhatsApp group do a podcast.
I know. It would have been so fun. And so loud.
I know. When we get more skilled in like recording and we have microphones, we'll do that. Okay. And what do you do for kosher.com?
So for kosher.com, I kind of take the same job title and skill set and what I actually do for Family Table and bring it over to kosher.com, just with a different team. And it's obviously completely different because there's a website that you can just press upload from 1 second to the next. And it's not like a magazine of a limited amount of pages that we get to post.
And where mistakes are forever.
Right. Will be forever. There's no way to check a mistake, to
fix a mistake once it's printed.
Yes, it's very...
on web. So there is a little bit less pressure.
There's less pressure and there's more pressure because it's unlimited. So there's so much that can be there on kosher.com. There's endless opportunities. And there's more pressure because it's always like, do it for tomorrow,
Right. It's also extremely timely websites. Like things... Like it has to stay very current every day.
Right.
So you have a little more leeway in like a weekly magazine.
Yeah. I guess so. I guess you could say it like that. It used to be like when, like the week before Pesach, we would close the magazine. The week before Yontif, we would close the magazine. And then everyone involved in the magazine could finally breathe and make Yontif. With the website, it's like, no, there's no week before. It's up until the minute before Yontif. We're still posting,
It's a whole different thing. So you really are the perfect person for this delegating because, I see it. I watch Chanie do what she does. And Mom, you cannot imagine.
I can't.
But also, like, she's also dealing with a lot of people. And, that is a huge part of delegating is not just, giving the jobs away, finding who to give the jobs to, how to deal with people when they don't do a good job, not even when they don't do a good job. When they do a good job, it just wasn't your vision. So there's there's three different things. It's the right person. It's when they don't do a good job, like objectively.
Right.
When they did a very good job, it just wasn't what you asked them to do.
Right.
Or when they're unhappy with the job you've asked them to do. I mean, like
it's hard to ask also.
It's everything.
I learned from your father my husband is the best delegator in the world that I've ever met.
Very, very diplomatic.
Yes,
very diplomatic.
But I learned how he's doing. Partially, one of the things that he does is when he wants something done, he says, we need to get more milk.
Okay.
Like, hello, why, you're going to go get the milk?
Right.
You're asking me to go get... We need more ice.
Right.
We need to clean out this.
Right.
Like he's... like it's a team effort. What team effort? You're sitting on the couch and I'm doing it. Right? But that's a good way.
Yes.
Right?
That is... You have to be very, very clear when you delegate. Extremely clear. You have to say exactly what you need, but you have to say it in a way that still gives the person respect. Like you're saying it many times. I'll change the words from "could you" into "should we."
Right. That word.
Right. Or like, what do you think of blank instead of I want you to do blank? I change things like that all the time in my texts and in the way that I.
You've literally trained yourself to
for
speak
sure.
in a more
For sure. It's you know what?
respect.
Okay, let me give you a drop of background. I started working on Family Table 8 years ago. Just about 8 years. Yeah,
Wow.
8 years ago. This summer was 8 years ago. And I was working with, I was really quite young. I was in my early 20s. And I was working with a team of people who could be my mother plus.
Right.
And I was jumping in to manage this team of people that were pre-existing part of the magazine. They already.
So who are you? Who are you to come in?
Exactly.
And take over?
So I came in with a ton of humility. Like I have to be extremely respectful to these people. They came before me. They predated me, and
they're much older.
They're much older.
By the way, which was a few questions we
And
got.
they do want to tell you what to do.
I guess we'll just jump right into the questions because one of the
Go.
questions somebody asked you was, hold on, how to delegate to someone older than you in a respectful way.
Exactly.
How?
Okay, so what I did and still do is I'll give an idea and I'll say like and I'll make sure that they're on the same page as me. I'll never give someone an idea that they absolutely do not want to do because then it won't come out good.
So you have to get to know the people you're delegating to.
For sure. I wouldn't give a job to somebody that's completely against their nature.
So I guess that, right. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning, right? Like, let's say you're running a business or you're running your home and you're ready to start giving out some responsibilities, A, because you want, maybe because you want to, B, maybe because you need to, because maybe you need to use your time doing this more effectively, doing something else.
Right.
Maybe because, doing this kind of work is 20 cents per hour, but doing the other work is, makes you 60 cents per hour. So it's more effective to give it out.
Right.
And so you need to delegate. Now that you know you need to delegate, there are two options. You either need to build a team of who you delegate to, or like you did, you walk into a pre-existing team, so I assume those two types of delegating, those two beginnings of delegating are very different.
Right.
Like if you get to choose your own team, so the first question is, what do we look for in how do we delegate? And then if you're walking into a team, how do you get to know everybody and figure out, because you start off running, right? Like totally. So these people already have personalities. How do you get to know people while you're delegating without offending, without burning bridges,
right?
With being respectful? So I think we should answer both those questions.
Okay. So the first one is how you build a team.
How do you build a team?
Okay. So how do I build a team is it's a gut feeling. You have to be really in touch with your gut. You have to find people that you love as a person, and you think that they're a good person. You think that they're in line with your goals and aspirations and your values, and you take it from there. And you just have to connect with the person that you're hiring. Like if you're hiring somebody as, let's say, I don't know, you have some kind of business, whatever it is, a small business, and you need to hire a secretary. Don't hire someone that grates on your nerves, even if she's amazing. It won't work.
Right.
So
what's is there like one universal question that you ask somebody, or it's like really dependent on the job?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
I feel like I get a sense of a person before I even approach them.
Really?
And I've lost people.
So great.
And I've lost people because of that.
Because sometimes it backfires.
But either that, or sometimes like in the interim of my
researching them
and getting a feel for them, someone else will take them and snatch them up. And that happens, yeah.
So research is a big part of building your team. Like you first would want to look into somebody before approaching them, because that could just avoid a lot of awkward interactions.
For sure.
Then you do your research, and then you meet this person to try to hire them. And so the first thing is just a gut. Like, how do you feel? How do they behave? Would you say, I think you said the other day when we were discussing what the topic would be, like midos.
100%.
Do they have midos that are in line with your values?
Exactly.
Midos.
Exactly.
Right.
They're humble people. They can take direction. They won't put something out in your name, meaning under your umbrella of what you're doing, that you don't feel comfortable with.
Is it important in that first meeting or right away to establish, I'm the delegator and you're the delegatee? At the end of the day, do you feel like there does need to be that boundary of at the end of the day, my word does have to be final because this is my job and
Right.
it's your job.
So that's interesting that you bring that up. So I think that it's clear in the fact that you're approaching them to work for you that's the case, that's the dynamic. But I just had this last week with somebody who I wanted to hire to do something. And I said, look, I'll be very honest. I think this might be jumping a step ahead, but I have a very good sense of what the magazine needs in this particular section that I wanted to hire the person for. And I told her, I said, this is my vision for this particular job that I need you for. And she said to me, I hear that, and I hear that you have a vision, and I appreciate the vision that you have because you know your audience and because you know what you're looking for, but I still want to have creative freedom. So I said, I will always give people creative freedom.
Which I can attest to that because I'm not very easy. It's very hard to tell me what to do because I'm very creative.
Right.
And when you give me very exact instructions, it's very hard for me to stay within the lines.
I never give anyone very exact. Because you need to use your own creativity. You need to own your project, right? So when you bring someone in to do something creative, they need to feel like it's theirs.
Right, especially in a creative industry.
For sure, they need to have their fingerprints all over it and be proud of it.
Right.
It has to be a collaborative thing.
What did you do?
So she actually called somebody else and said, tell me the truth. Will Chanie let me have creative freedom? And
really?
Yeah.
So she started looking into you.
So she started looking into me, which I was very happy about.
It's good because
and then that person called me, guys, nothing ever happens in secret. Right. People call and call and call. No.
That's true. Yeah. No.
They just do. But it's a good thing. Like I have nothing to hide. When you have nothing to hide.
Were you nervous that you would have an issue with her?
Not at all, because I know.
Delegating wise?
Not at all. Otherwise I wouldn't have brought her in.
Right.
Otherwise I wouldn't have approached her in the first place. She is going to be in. It's not final, but she is going to be in.
Oh, good. Smart move on her part. I don't know her, but
yeah. So I said, like, I will give parameters and I'll give guidelines, but then within those guidelines, run with it and have fun with it and take it to the next level and make it yours.
Yeah, I do. I can actually attest to that. Okay, wait. So now what if somebody walks into a already existing situation, like they take on a role of managing a store, or they take on a role of managing family table, or any sort of existing, or they walk in as an office manager into a brand new office with people that have been working together for 15 years.
Okay.
So how do you approach delegating people that already coexist and you're the new person?
Right. So you need to come in with that, with the knowledge that you're the new one. And even if you're hired as in a superior situation, let's say you're hired as the new boss or the new manager, you need to know that the people that are now going to be responding to you have been there for a long time and they have things that they can offer you, meaning they have experience. They may have, work relationships that you need to tap into there and to understand the dynamics and what goes on and different people and how they react to certain situations and what they're looking for. So you need them just as much as they need you and your inspiration and your, what you're going to bring to the table, your new ideas and your vision.
So would you say in a situation like that, it's important to get to know those people before really delegating, like
absolutely
not really assigning jobs, like of just going with the flow for a little?
Go with the flow, absolutely.
And build up slowly.
You're going to be there. If you're hired into a new situation, chances are you have a time period that you could prove yourself. And, you don't need, the first day you don't need to come in and rearrange the office.
Right.
You can come in, you could give yourself some time.
You had teachers, you had teachers, like a really good teacher. And then in the middle of the year, maybe she went on maternity leave or whatever, was absent for a few days. And all of a sudden you have this new teacher, you have this new teacher that's coming in and she comes in and she's moving around the kids' seats. And you're like, hello.
Right.
Even though you're a little kid and you're respectful of your elders and all this, you're like, what is this woman doing?
What's going
she doesn't
on
even
here?
know us.
It's a very jarring feeling.
Feels assaulting.
Yeah. It's not a good feeling.
It's not a good feeling. No.
To have somebody not even know you, not even give you a chance, not okay, so that's another question. Would you say it's important for a delegator to put themselves in the people's shoes that they are delegating to and trying to understand them?
Try to understand them, understand where they're coming from, and play off of their strengths. Every single person has a strength. Oh, of course. Everybody has a strength.
Don't give somebody a job that's not in their wheelhouse of strength.
For sure. But even more than that, you have to get to know them to find what their strength is. And then you take that strength and you make that amazing.
Do you ever find that getting to know somebody can blur the lines between friend and boss?
It's a good question, but I don't think so.
Really?
No, because I think that
You think yes?
It depends on the personalities, but it's two personalities, and often, when you take two personalities and there is a difference, there is sometimes
a blurring,
whether it be
boundaries,
a little
you think?
boundaries or a little, that diseased a little jealousy.
Right.
And that,
right.
Yeah,
so you have to be careful.
Right.
But that's in any relationship. That's in any friendship. You have to be careful what you share. If you just got something extravagant and over the top, don't share it with your friend that you know is struggling.
Right.
It's with everything.
Right.
So would you say that even like as you're getting to know people, though, it is important to maintain boundaries?
Boundaries are for sure important. I think, especially in work environments, there have to be things that you just don't discuss.
Boundaries, midot, it sort of goes together.
Well, implementing boundaries is more effective if you have good midos,
for
right?
Sure.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, boundaries is erecting boundaries is a midah, but implementing them is something you can do nicely, or you can do not so nicely,
right?
And people are probably more responsive to having boundaries set up if they come from a nicer place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if they're there from the beginning, like you don't feel like talking about what you get paid. Just don't talk about it.
Not even talking about what you get paid, but let's say you can have an employee that calls you 15 times a day.
Right.
Like you can set up boundaries in a very nice way and say, hey, how would you deal with that? Let's say you have somebody that just keeps calling and calling.
Okay, so I really try to have my afternoons off dedicated to my kids. Okay. So if somebody that's work related is calling me within work hours, then that's fine. That works. But also, you know what? My answer to that question is really I don't have time for that kind of thing. For to completely focus on one person that's calling me all day long, or I wouldn't be responsible.
So you just will not pick up the phone call?
Or like a respectful thing to do is if someone's calling you and you're busy and you can't answer, just text them and say, hey, I can't talk now, and give them a time that you can talk. Or say, let's set a time to discuss this.
Do you ever create a boundary of a hard time? Like I have 10 minutes and then at the end of 10 minutes you'll be like, I'm so sorry, I really do have to go?
Yes, but I'm not amazing at that. But you know that. But I mean,
it's true. I'm her number one culprit here.
No, that's so not true. You have no idea how many people.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine if you're dealing with more people like.
Oh my gosh, everybody.
I used to call my husband about 15 times a day.
Right.
Well, then Eric took over. Now he doesn't have time.
No, but and he would. My husband has this thing. He picks up my phone calls and his children's phone calls, our children's phone calls, so every single time, no matter where he is, no matter what meeting.
I'm a little girl.
Wow.
Yes.
But the truth is, I have to say, even though he could have done the delegating, one day I would have Daddy come in here and talk about family balance.
Yes.
Family.
He's amazing.
And he, by the way, my father left in the morning and came home late at night. Mm-hmm. And he had business trips when we were little. He was going and looking at properties and things like that.
Right.
But I don't know.
No matter
in my
where,
mind, he was always there.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's my memory of him. And he somehow, when he was present, was so present that it didn't matter that there were days that we fell asleep before we came home.
So what we did end up having, Daddy and I, is I said, look, if you're not happy I'm calling you all these times, then let's have a signal.
Okay. Yeah.
And he would say, okay. So we had a signal that would say later.
Okay.
And that would mean he's busy, he can't talk.
Okay.
That was it.
That's great.
And I knew.
Right.
And I knew.
Boundary.
But you know what? Then, but he gave you the signal.
Right.
But that was
if
so
he didn't give
important.
me the signal.
He communicated and said later and not just didn't answer.
So really, when you're delegating to someone, you're in a relationship with them, basically.
Absolutely.
And you need to communicate effectively.
Yeah, you need to communicate effectively, for sure.
I'm learning so much today. Oh my gosh. Are you not? I know. I know. She knows so much.
Are you serious?
I have to work on more
sometimes,
I think I have to work on more
kosher.com and mishpacha. But like things with the cookbook, things with this, I'll call Chanie and be like, I don't even know how to respond to this.
Right.
Because I'm also not very good at saying no. It's actually very difficult for me. I never want to hurt anybody. And sometimes I've been in a situation where I have hurt somebody by not saying no.
Okay.
Because I'm sure people out there that have a hard time saying no can understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. Because
where,
it
like,
spirals.
you push them off and push them off, or you give like an ambivalent yes.
Exactly.
Or
it's not good.
Like, and it's just not good. And then they end up getting hurt, and there was no reason. Like, had I said no to begin with, maybe there would have been an initial twinge, but
It's not even no. It's just be clear.
Right. And
I can't do this because of X or whatever.
Yeah,
or not even give a reason.
So sometimes I'll call Chanie and be like, how should I word this in a very diplomatic way? Because I don't want to hurt the person. But I just like, because I'm not trained in saying no. I mean, I'm learning now and I'm getting better at it because even within your own family, as your children get bigger, like you really do have to learn how to say no and stand up for yourself. And
I find with my kids all the time.
More and more. Yeah.
Totally.
And you don't want to hurt them. And sometimes like, it could be like, Mama, can you spend 10 minutes with me alone? And I do try to spend alone time with my kids every single day. But let's say there's an additional 10 minutes and I really can't, right? Not because I don't want to and not because of work, because I really can't anymore. Like my brain isn't working. I can't give you those 10 minutes. How can I say no to you without hurting you?
Right. And without feeling guilty.
Yeah. And oh my God. Well, that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest
is the
part.
Guilt.
Yes, that is absolutely the
And then,
part.
by the way, I'll get mad at the person that made me feel guilty. Like, then no, I'm not really mad. But in my head, I'll be like, oh, I'm so annoyed that he asked me for those 10 minutes, and now I have to feel guilty.
It's like when I call you, and
no, I don't feel guilty. You call 14 times a day. That's why you don't call Dad anymore. You don't take my signals. I say I have to go. I'm hanging up. Okay,
but you don't call me mad.
Wait. I have to tell you something so important. My dress is red. Okay. Thanks, Mom. No, you do. You call alone. I know.
You know what? I only have one girl. You would not let me have any other girl.
You know what?
You wanted to be the only princess.
You know what days of the year I get the most done? When it's the second day Yontif in America. I can work the whole day that day. My phone doesn't start ringing at 1 in the afternoon.
Yeah, because even if I go shopping, I call you, text you.
I know.
Your time difference probably helps you.
Oh, it is huge.
Yeah.
People say to me all the time, don't you have FOMO? Don't you feel like you're missing out? So first of all, I'm not a FOMO type of person. Like
what's FOMO?
Like fear of missing out. Like meaning like when let's say like people get together somewhere, don't you wish you were getting together? But you don't have I don't, because I always am just like very happy wherever I am, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's something you could work on. That's like just a way you were born.
Right.
And like I'll be like, oh wow, that looks like so much fun. Tell me about it. I want to hear. Did you have a great time? But I don't ever feel like, oof, I should have been there.
Right.
So thank God that's just good. Like a base level way Hashem created me. But so people always think that about my time difference, and I'm like, no, my time difference is amazing because I can work.
For sure.
There's ups, pros and cons to everything. Girls come home in Israel at 2:00 every day. So it's not so easy because from 2:00 until 10:00, I have 8 hours of my day where I'm with children.
Right.
And like, that's tiring and it's a lot. And it's very exhausting. 8 hours is really a lot. But on the flip side, from, 8 a.m. until 2 a.m., my days are extremely effective because most of my work world is in America.
Right.
And I'm in Israel where America is sleeping those hours. So I can get a lot done in those 8 hours.
Amazing.
And it's very nice for me.
I kind of wish I had the nights. I used to work at night like crazy.
But now you're tired.
I can't do it anymore.
You know why? Because
my kids rely on me.
Also, as your kids get older, your nights become shorter so intense. But not only shorter and shorter, those hours become intense. Like when you have only little kids, right? Like the hardest part of your night is bath time. Honestly, put me in a bathroom with a 2-year-old.
4 to 8.
But put me in a bathroom with a 2-year-old today, and that's a vacation.
Right.
Like, sit in the bathroom, watch them take a bath. Amazing.
Right.
Amazing. Right. Put me on a couch with a 10-year-old for an hour. Holy moly. Your brain can explode. I mean, it's amazing. You want to hear about their day and be involved, but like, it's true. Bigger kids, bigger problems, more intense. I mean, they're real people. You have to stay, you're alert. Your brain is on. It's firing.
It's stimulating.
Everything is going. And then by the time your kids go to sleep at 10:00, it's as if you're with adults all day and you need to go to sleep.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
I know. I used to be able to do it, and now I just
I can't cook
just
at
can't.
night. I can't.
But you are a morning person. You were always up before us. You never
Right. I was always a morning person, and
you never cooked at night.
I couldn't. No, the last thing I could put in an oven that would only
4
cook for
o'clock.
dinner.
5
Right.
o'clock, like 2. You know,
Yeah.
that's it. I
Right.
can't. I just.
I also
To
always
this day.
find if I cook at night, my downfall is not the cooking; it's the packaging.
cooling it off?
Yes,
Yes.
the cooling and packaging.
For sure.
Okay.
I have left
Yeah.
multiple pieces of meat out on the counter overnight by accident.
Really?
Like I'll
Well,
take it
only
out
this
and I'll be
week.
like,
And
okay,
you forget about it.
I'm gonna go. Oh, this week I did it.
Really?
This week I had like a pot of beans that were cooking and whatever.
Last
and-
night I jumped up.
Right. My
because
mother
I was
texts.
so
My mother
nervous.
calls me at like 11 o'clock. She was like, "What did you do with the leftover sauce?" I was like, "No, it's in the fridge."
And do you know that I got up and checked?
Are you serious?
Yes,
No,
I
because
did.
that is the downfall of nighttime
Right.
cooking.
Right.
Yes,
I know.
yes, I can't
I know
do
you
that.
forget about it.
You know-
but morning hours are very
Chicken
effective.
soup.
Right.
You
Chicken
cook
soup.
chicken soup all day and then you
I
let
know.
that cool. How many times have you left chicken
See, that's
soup
why
on
I
the
cook
stove?
it at night.
No,
I could
I put it on a very
overnight.
low fire
And leave it on overnight.
And leave it
That's
on
what I
overnight
do.
so that the next morning you could turn it off and then it'll cool.
So sometimes when I'm lazy.
yeah,
not
that's what
lazy,
you
but
do.
like you're
but it
tired.
doesn't hurt. But it keeps it warm and it only gets better.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, chicken soup is magical.
Yeah.
I do that. I overnight.
yeah. It's
I'll
great.
even make I'll take a frozen brisket.
Oh, and you
So-
leave it in the
and
oven overnight.
Tell me
Overnight,
what you think
yeah.
about this. This is my theory. But
Okay.
overnight chicken soup is the best.
Yes.
But
Let's talk about chicken soup.
I know. Wait, but here's
Do you want to
the
hear
thing.
my chicken soup, guys?
Yes, we do. Wait, what do you think? But I think if I know I'm going to leave my chicken soup on the fire overnight,
Yeah.
there are certain things I won't put in it.
Oh, yeah. You
Right?
can't put in super sweet things.
Kohlrabi.
Oh, I never put in kohlrabi, but you can't put in
Connie,
like
you
a
should
sweet
try
potato.
kohlrabi.
But it's like a turnip. I put in turnip.
No, it is different.
better?
The texture is different. It is amazing.
Really?
Amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna.
I
have
won't
to
put
do it.
in-
Bok choy.
I won't put in
Oh, really?
leeks overnight.
I never
Right.
put in leek.
You
You don't
really?
put leek?
No.
I love to eat the leek, so
Oh,
I
me
put in
too.
leek.
It's like the celery onion family. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Ah,
Sometimes it
it's
gets
so
too
delicious.
slimy.
Good.
It does. It does.
You have to
get a
make
bit
it.
slimy.
You have to cut it up really small. Otherwise, it's like too
So,
slimy.
anyways, I have to open it up to check
for bugs.
it. Like in Israel, also our leek is very, very, very sandy. Like each
Mm-hmm.
layer. When I make even like the leek comfy, I have to totally open it. Like there's
Yeah.
no getting around it.
Yeah.
But you taught me how to do chicken soup in an easy, great way. The chicken goes in
The net.
in the
The net.
net bag.
Everything goes
No,
in
but
the
you
net.
brown the
vegetables
chicken.
go
I
in
brown the
the
That
chicken.
I got that from you.
Really? I
Yes.
sear the chicken
It's
in the pot.
amazing because it makes it more brown also, and brown
Yeah.
equals flavor and fond,
Yes.
and it's so good.
Also, then the chicken that you're eating in the chicken soup tastes
Tastes better.
because
Yes.
it has like texture now. It's not just boiled chicken. It was
Right.
seared first.
Yes.
Yeah, but I put even the vegetables. So when we go to serve,
Yeah.
I just
Right.
open
I
up
don't.
the
Right.
in
I serve
bowls.
vegetables on a tray.
Yes.
From the chicken
Really?
soup. I
Me
take it
too.
out of the net.
And
I
the-
put it
and
on
the
a tray,
chicken.
and I pass it around. Everybody takes what they want. Said I'm not standing there like. Also, my
That's
soup
such a good
stays
idea.
clear. If you're like pulling things out, the vegetables
I-
mush, like pieces fall off.
Do you want to hear how I take
Yeah.
apart my soup?
Tell
It's
us.
like a project.
Right.
You take apart. I take out all the vegetables. I put them in a 9x13 because most people in my family don't like the vegetables.
Okay.
Okay, so then I strain the whole soup through a flour sifter
Yeah. So it's like
because I need it to be super clean.
otherwise the pepper doesn't. You have to
No,
do
the
it through
chicken
flour.
pieces and the goop and whatever.
Yeah.
So I put it through a flour sifter. Also, it has the wools on the side,
Right.
which
So
I
you
really
can go
like.
up a little bit.
So yeah, and then I put it into like the biggest bowl that I have slowly, and then I ladle out from the bowl into containers. And then I put the vegetables back into the soup, like carrots. All my kids like, so
Right.
I'll put that back in.
Very smart.
Whatever, but the flour
Yeah.
sifter is like
Is
that's
key.
the key.
That's
Oh,
very
yes,
smart.
yeah.
What vegetables do you put in?
Okay, so the absolute musts are carrot, onion, celery.
Okay.
Or anything from that family. It has to be from the onion family, it has to be from the celery family. It could be a celery root. Those are like, that's where we start.
Celery and celery root, you feel like are interchangeable in the soup?
They
we don't have celery root, so I'm not
really. I hate to break up this little cooking
Yeah.
party.
Do we want
but
to
we're
talk
here
about
about
delegating?
delegating,
All right,
and I
fine.
need to write notes. So can
Anyway,
you get back to
Yeah,
asking
fine,
questions?
really quickly. Wait, just
But then
finish
it
this.
goes from there. Then you could add in whatever root vegetables you like. Turnips and zucchini. And
Right.
then I'll usually do an orange vegetable, but I put that in at the end. And the herbs go in at the end only. Dill
What?
and parsley at the end.
Really?
Because then it gives it the brightest
Wait, you don't put
splash of
cilantro?
flavor. No, I don't put in cilantro.
Okay.
I do like cilantro.
put
I love
in my
cilantro,
soup,
but I don't put it
nobody
in.
that
One
doesn't
of the
like
best
cilantro
chicken soups
likes my soup. Like they don't realize it's in there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I hear
But
that. I have to try it.
You know, Harbor Grill in Florida, he puts oregano in his.
Ugh, I don't like oregano.
I don't either,
I
but
would
his
never
soup
order
is so good.
a chicken soup at Harbor Grill.
Right.
I'd get a
that's true.
steak
No,
and fries.
Mimit would. I know. Mimit would. I know.
Yeah, well,
Wait
if
a
I'm
second.
sick, I get.
Well, I will tell you something. My
right.
sister-in-law, Rachel, told me that I think maybe she got it from her sister. I don't know where she got it from. If I'm like really like watching what I'm eating and whatever, right before Shabbos, like literally 10 minutes before Shabbos, I'll take one of those mesh bags. I'll fill it with white cabbage. And I'll put it in right before Shabbos. It doesn't affect the flavor of the soup.
Really?
It doesn't affect the flavor of the soup because the soup is just on the platter at that point. Like it's not coming to a
do
boil.
that. I'm going.
It's not coming to a boil
interesting.
anymore. It's just hot. So like
what
the
does it
flavor
give
is
the
minimal.
soup?
It doesn't give the soup. I'm the only one that eats it, but it's like texture. It's a really good texture in the
By
soup.
itself.
Like, instead of matzo balls or noodles or croutons, you could eat like a giant bowl of cabbage.
That's so interesting.
And it still tastes like chicken soup. It doesn't taste like cabbage soup. It doesn't get the cabbage flavor because you're not.
It doesn't cook really? That's so interesting.
But it's a really good tip.
That's a good hack. I'm going to try that.
And it's delicious.
Great.
Don't do it with purple cabbage because
it will make your soup an ugly color.
The ugliest color. I did that once because I was like, I didn't have white cabbage. I was like, oh, it'll be fine. So what? It'll turn a little purple. Nobody touched the soup.
Really?
No, Ellie was like, I'm sorry,
I can't eat this.
Well, Ellie,
it's like
we
playing
eat with
tricks
our
my
eyes,
mind.
though.
No, but that's like
no.
Well, you're eating chicken soup and it's like a little bit black. Like nobody can eat that. Like that's off.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Back to delegating.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
What's the next?
You're being
question?
very quiet today.
What?
Because you're tired from last night.
Oh my God, that
From
meal.
our Sunday
Oh
sauce
my
dinner.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, if you really want to impress anyone, just make that.
By the way,
Oh wow.
so I will say it was like 20 pounds of meat. It's not like a cheap dish to make, but it's basically like a standing rib roast. And you could definitely serve it for 3 meals. Like during Elul, make a big pot of Sunday sauce, divide it into 3 or 4.
It's dinners right there.
And you'll have dinners. But it's a main course.
a
There's
fancy
brisket in
dinner.
it.
Right,
it's
right, right,
fancy
right.
dinner.
Right,
It's yontif.
right.
Like, don't
It's a
serve it for
yontif
like
meal.
stam. It's not meat sauce. It's its own thing. There's brisket. There's like really
And
like
it's one pot.
It's
and then
amazing.
you have the pasta.
It's amazing.
It's
So make that. Okay, fine. It always goes back to food. I cannot control my. I mean, you all-
delegating.
course.
Delegating.
The food
Come
world.
on.
Yeah.
I didn't write
Okay.
anything yet.
Fine. Okay. So this is, I guess, the biggest question with delegating is it possible to stay in control of delegating? And that ties into the next question of how do you let go? Like, how do you let go of control?
That's a very good
And then is it even possible to stay in control while you're letting go of some control?
Okay, so there is going to be a dance, a push-pull between delegating, always. And
Right.
there's going to be a certain point that you're going to let go, and sometimes you'll kick yourself that you're let go. It happens to me all the time, and I'll say, like,
You regret it?
I regret it so many times.
Meaning, like, why did I give this person this job, or I should have done it myself?
Or, like, I should have... Yeah, or like I should have been on top of them one more time, or made them send it to me one more time before it goes to print, or just checked it over one more time. Or, you know, like, it's not really let other people do it, but like maybe, you know, just the hand-holding piece, like ask them to be more in touch with me more, you know, more times. And sometimes I regret that, but on the other hand, there's my schedule, my work calendar that I have to adhere to.
Right.
So it's getting quantity done sometimes is going to dance between quality.
Interesting. So do you find that the more you delegate, the less you have? Well, do you find that as you delegate more, the quality goes down?
As you delegate more, no, the more you have to do, the more ideas you have, the more you want to get out there, the quality of each thing will suffer a little bit if you're letting go. And if you're not extending yourself, meaning like hiring somebody under you to do something else that you would have done. You're only one person. You only have a certain amount of hours.
Is quality suffering because of finances or because of delegating? Like if you could hire somebody more qualified for the job, would the quality suffer?
I mean, it's a very multifaceted question because it could be so many different pieces, and like it depends what, it depends who, it depends.
Could the suffering quality be fixed though with right
more money,
or as the company grows in some ways, right?
For sure.
Or like redistributing.
I say that too all the time. When we have this person in place or when this happens, then we could do that. Like sometimes you also have to know not everything has to happen today. Right. And the longer you're in your job, you realize that there are things that you could say, I'm gonna be okay with this today, but in the future it's going to be better. And you know in your head, and write that down so you don't forget that like you really, the ideal situation for whatever project it is you're working on is for it to look a certain way, but you're okay with it looking less than that just for now.
Right. So sometimes let's say a woman at home, right, who doesn't have help but who wants help,
right,
can say, okay, for now, my clothes are not folded perfectly the way I want them to, and I can't afford the help that I need to have to make this happen.
Right.
But, I'm going to, take a small job on the side, this and that, so that I can afford to hire somebody.
Right.
And then in 6 months from now, my shirts will be folded the way I want them to be folded.
Absolutely. If you always remind yourself of that goal that you have.
And then
it's letting go. It's, but there are some people, Danielle, myself, we have a hard time letting go because we want it done the way we want it. And no one can do it the way we can.
Right. So, exactly.
By the way, it's not just us. You should know every question I got basically was from women that were like, because we're multitaskers, right? By nature, the way Hashem created us is that we do a lot of things at once.
Right.
When you do a lot of things at once, you sort of trick your mind into thinking you can do everything.
Exactly.
But we can't do everything. Because we're not trained in delegating, so we don't even have the skill to know, or the way I feel at least, is I'm starting from zero. I don't even know which parts to delegate.
Well,
which parts do I let go of? I don't know.
This summer was a very big delegating lesson for me because I am not physically able to achieve what I used to achieve 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
Right.
And it's, it's very hard to deal with mentally.
Right.
But I knew that I had to have my children and my husband understand that I cannot do these things anymore. So either you all have to pick up or we have to hire help to help with all of the things that I used to do.
Right.
But this summer, I'm telling you, I did a great job because everybody did their food shopping and the this and the baths and, a lot of things.
Right.
And it made it, a lot more.
Happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that also the people that you're delegating to, those are people that you're hiring and training in and hand-holding from the beginning so that when you have a crazy crash moment, you can let go.
Right.
You're not just letting go to just anybody. You're letting go to people you trust.
And people you've put into place. Hopefully.
Right. And yeah.
So, okay. So I guess one of the questions that I
know?
thought that was interesting, because this was her word, not mine, but I really did think there is a distinction, is how to delegate and not micromanage. But like,
That's a very good
do
one.
you have to micromanage if you're delegating? Like what, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I thought that question was great. I don't know.
Okay. So it depends on the person. It really does. And it depends on the task of what it is. But you want to be able to trust the person. First of all, like we were saying before, they need to feel trusted.
Right.
So you don't want to micromanage them because then they're going to be resentful. No one wants to be micromanaged.
Right.
They're going to be resentful and they're going to not enjoy their job. You're going to suck all the life out of the creativity in their job. They're going to hate it.
And just like you make mistakes, they might make mistakes also.
So my issue with the micromanaging is that I don't want you to make a mistake. So I'm micromanaging you to prevent you making a mistake.
Right.
Because I don't want to.
But sometimes I swallow mistakes for other people.
Really?
For sure.
That's just part of delegating, is that you have to take responsibility for their mistakes?
First of all, yes. And second of all, sometimes there's only so many times I'll send someone back to the drawing board before I feel like they're getting resentful, for sure.
And then you'll just say, okay, this isn't what I wanted, but I'm going to deal with it.
It's not, I don't love it, but I'm going to live with it. So time is always a constraint.
Right. Well, especially in your industry.
Absolutely.
But time is everybody, because if you're in a business,
everybody has
time
a time
is money.
constraint. Time is money. If you're paying a graphic designer, let's say, to create a logo for you and you send them back to the drawing board 4 times, you're paying for it.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
So you may have a certain budget for your logo and then that's it. You reached your budget. You have to make do with it.
It's funny because I often do feel very frustrated, mostly in my own job and my own Peas, Love, and Carrots business. And I wonder if there are other people that relate to this in areas where I'm not qualified to do a skill. but I want to do that skill.
Right.
And that's where delegating becomes the hardest for me. So like, let's say I am a very creative person and I love to draw and I love to paint and like whatever.
Really?
It's all part of cooking and it's
That's
all part
amazing.
of it's an art.
Good to know.
But I have no computer skills. So I can't design my own logo.
Right.
I can't create my own animated images. I can't even create a website that I feel like truly reflects me because I don't have the skill.
Right. Sometimes we feel like our hands are tied.
My hands are tied. They're limited by my qualifications, by my skill level.
Right.
And that can be the most frustrating places. So thank God in terms of graphics, I actually found somebody who shares my...
She reads you very well.
Right. She's amazing. Ariella. She's amazing. Yes. She is like one of the most talented people
We love you, Ariella.
No, we do. She is beyond talented. Wow. And she like gets my vision and we can work back and forth. And I actually... because I trust her so much, you're right. I never say this is what I want. I say this is what I'm going for. What do you think? And we bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah.
And often we'll come up with something that was better than I even went in thinking I wanted because I trust her so much that I can allow myself to be influenced by her opinion and come up with something better. But like let's say like with websites or things like that, like I haven't found that in every area where I'm not skilled enough. And those jobs are hard to delegate because I'm always compromising. Mm-hmm. And actually, a few times I did find somebody, but it wasn't within what I could afford.
Right.
For my
That's
business
very frustrating
now.
Also. So I find with those things that the more direction you give them, the better it is.
So then there would be a sense, not micro... What's
it's not micromanaging. It's
and
inspiration. It's from the get-go. If you approach the situation from step one and say, I did my homework. Here's all my inspiration. Look for inspiration pictures online. Look for something similar. Do your homework. Look for what you're going for. There's everything out there. There's nothing new under the sun. And like if you can just say like, okay, let's put these 5 pictures together. This is what I'm going for. And you're able to use the skill.
Part of communication.
Use technology. Take your phone. Take the pencil app on your phone and circle the parts that you like. Circle the parts that X the parts that you don't like. You know what I mean? It's part of communication.
That's how I learned how to cook also. A lot of time. Well, Ashkenazi food.
You put 5 recipes together.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I would. I
That's what I do too.
a bunch of Ashkenazi recipe books.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to make chopped liver, I read a few recipes, and then I created my own.
That's how you came up with the yapsik. That's why yours is the best.
Really?
It's like the most Moroccan yapsik.
That's amazing.
It doesn't look anything like potato kugel.
But Ashkenazi
there is potato kugel in it.
That's so funny. It's such a hybrid. Wow.
Yeah. It is the best yapsik.
Yeah. So that's you're preempting micromanaging. You have to preempt that.
By pre-communicating.
Wow.
God, this is right? Are you learning so much?
I wish I was younger.
I know. I love this. This. Okay. So I guess like that kind of touches on this question, but I thought it was a very interesting question. This question came from a teacher and she wrote, I'm assigned an aide. It's not a choice. I have to use this person.
Okay.
But she is underqualified for the job.
Wow, that's hard.
Right. So what does she do? There is oftentimes, right? Like I've had this, I'm sure you've had this already. Mm-hmm. You for sure have had this, where you're put into a position where you need to delegate to someone who should not be doing this job, but your hands are tied. This is who you have to work with. You cannot do it all alone. For sure, I know in a kitchen, I've worked in professional kitchens, like not everybody in the kitchen is trained or experienced. Like some of them are at the beginning of their training. And they're not overqualified to do everything.
Or they just not hard workers.
Right.
Or whatever, for a multitude of reasons, just shouldn't be doing the job that you need them to do because this is what you have. And it wasn't your choice and your hands are tied. How do you deal with that?
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. You have to be flexible and you have to rewrite your script. Meaning if your job... For a teacher, it's a little bit harder because a teacher has a pre-existing curriculum and she has things that she has to accomplish throughout the year. But even with the teacher, if you can rewrite the script and say, okay, this person was given to me. I do not have a choice. I have to work with this person on this project. It could be a long-term project. And for the rest of the year, you have to be working with that person. So it could be that what you originally wanted to accomplish in that project is going to have to be rewritten and morphed into something new.
Or the jobs you're delegating, like give her
Exactly.
a lot of easier jobs as opposed to one bigger job.
Or let's say there was something that you always did, but that's easy.
Right.
Or
like
for
let's
her.
say grading tests.
Right.
Or like a multiple question test.
Yeah. Like it's within her skill set. And then you can do something that you normally would have given to that person.
Right. Like you have to rewrite the script. That was great. I love that. You really have to change your mindset but it wouldn't be where, like, you can never make somebody into somebody they're not.
You really can't.
So the only way to be an effective delegator is to sort of morph yourself into the situation.
You have to be flexible. Totally.
Oh my gosh.
It's not easy.
Is the best podcast.
Well, only when you cannot choose. Who the person is.
Right. If you can choose, then go for it. Look for what your needs are. Have that person fill the role that you need.
So I have a question that nobody asked. Would you say it's important when you're delegating and bringing somebody into the team to always have a trial period? Like from the get-go? Or does that leave insecurity?
Right. So trial period is very tricky. I struggle with that. I'm going to be very honest.
Yeah.
I struggle with the trial period because I want to jump in. I want to give it all I've got and I want it to succeed. And I'm more often than not will make do with the person after the trial period, even if she doesn't like ace it in the trial period. I'll make do with it because I'm like, okay, now I understand what this is. Now I get this person and I get what we're working with, and let's change things around to make it work.
As opposed to letting somebody go.
As opposed to letting someone go. Yeah, I have a hard time with that. But
letting people go is difficult.
It's very hard.
Is that part of delegating? Would you say effective delegating requires that sometimes?
It's the responsibility you have to your job. Sometimes it's the like if someone, let's say someone, higher up than you is putting you in charge of a certain thing that you need to get.
Right.
Check off the list.
It's your right. It's like you're being paid to do this job and manage these people. And
if it were up to me,
difficult.
I would keep them on. I would have them do I don't even know what, but like make it a happy situation. But sometimes you just have to be responsible to your job. But okay, here's something that I had in mind that I really wanted to say, that in all these situations, when you're working with people, when you have people under you, it can't be personal. It can't be that you're doing because we're so chummy and we're so friends, so therefore, it's going to be okay, or therefore I need to ask you this, or therefore I can't ask you this. It can't be personal, meaning I'm asking you to do something. This is part of our work relationship. I need to ask this from you.
Right.
Like certain things that I hate asking, I'll always tell myself, it's not personal.
It's just your job.
It's your job. You have to take all of suck out the personal.
See, you have a very difficult job because you deal with all women, mostly.
All women with tons of personalities and tons of emotions.
Emotions.
Yes.
We're very emotional beings.
Yeah.
Like it is hard.
And we know better.
Right. Everybody knows better.
We know better.
Because everybody's creative project is their baby.
Right. It's very hard.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you do when like you're dealing with somebody and this is your vision, right? Like this is your job. Your job is every week to have a vision for the magazine, right? And you plan that out months in advance and it's set in.
And kosher.com.
Right. And kosher.com. And then you approach somebody and they're just like, no. What do you do when there's just like insubordination, like outright?
So it depends if it's before or after the job happens. That makes a very big difference. If it's before the job happens, let's talk it out. Let's have a conversation. We'll work it out. Easy.
And maybe redirect who you give the job to.
Guys, conversations are everything.
Right.
Communication. It's not even, it's communication, but it's pick up the phone and have a conversation about it.
Versus texting.
Oh, versus texting for sure. The second I feel like somebody is upset about something, I pick up the phone. It's like my number one. Like, don't be afraid to do that. It's so much more.
Talk it out.
Yeah, you get so much more accomplished when you pick up the phone than and you feel so much better about it because you have a voice and the other person has a voice and you could figure it out and talk it out and come to something.
Like Menches.
Yeah, like
texting is really should be just for like the day-to-day,
it's very useful.
You said.
Yeah.
It's very useful.
It's very, very useful and I rely on it a lot. But the second somebody is upset, I'm like,
but also
no texting.
You have two phones, right?
Yeah, I do.
But that is a big thing. Like, no, but I don't think was that a secret?
No, not at all. I wish I was able to keep to my system more.
No,
that's why I'm laughing.
But I really have also been thinking a lot lately. I'm like, maybe like my cell phone needs to become my work phone,
right? And
I need a second phone, like because right?
No, you do
right
for personal and people who need to reach you no matter what.
Yeah,
and
like. it's just, that's part of it. It's just being able to like separate what's work
when
and
a
what's
business
not.
grows, you know, back in our days, when a business grows, we start with one line and then we get a second. And then when it grows, you get a third line because it's what's needed.
But also I was going to say the old but it's not.
I'm part of that. It's all right.
Yeah.
But it's not. It exists
Well, like
today.
before we had cell phones at our disposal and stuff.
I mean, if you had a job, most people didn't work from their phones. Like my job is from my phone. That's a new thing.
I know.
And like you went to work, and then when you left
it was
work,
9 to 5.
Yeah, when you left
turned
work,
off.
Right.
That was
and
it.
now, like nobody had your phone. Like I don't know, nobody would have ever had Daddy's phone number. Like he didn't come home, and like it was very, very rare.
Daddy was never a phone person,
but nobody was.
And now he's so addicted he cannot be without that.
But nobody would have ever said to him. Nobody would have ever said to him back then, okay, I'm going to get back to just give me your house phone number and I'll call you at 9 o'clock and let you know.
It's
like
tomorrow in the workday.
That didn't happen.
No, right.
Like now somebody's like, okay, give me your cell phone. I'll let you know. And sometimes I'm like,
right.
Okay.
Now I'm going to be accessible. Oh, well.
Right. But that's a really hard thing is like, and I feel like I understand why somebody would have a work phone and a cell phone. And that's part of creating your own boundaries.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when we became Shom Shabbos,
wait, sorry. Wait, one second. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I couldn't figure out why I was saying that. But now I remember.
Yeah.
Because like you said, texting is very useful to you.
Right.
You don't have to be a person that has text messaging or text messages all the time. But if you have a work phone, you can be texting on your work phone in work-related things and then put that down at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is very important.
I know. It becomes hard if other people are working on projects overnight or Sundays, weekends. That I find very challenging. But first of all, I like to say, if you're going to be working on the weekend, give me a heads up so that I can check and I can be on call for you. But it also becomes hard when someone sends something to you and people in 2019, they expect a response. And if you don't respond, they take your non-response as you're not happy or you didn't like what they did or something like that. That's very, very hard.
Like my things are off. Ellie taught me that on WhatsApp, and like you can't see if I read your message or not, I think, or my timestamp or something like that.
Timestamp, yeah. Your last scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
take that off.
First of all, I don't really care when somebody was last time because if you don't answer me right away, I'm not insulted. Like it's just, you're a human being.
Right. But if you
I don't want anybody to be insulted.
Exactly.
If they see,
don't jump to conclusions.
I could have like 200 WhatsApps. I don't honestly it maybe came in so fast because because my cell phone is also not 200 people are WhatsApping me in my personal life.
Right. I don't answer all the time because I really do hate the phone.
Well, that's also generational. Like you don't text all the time. Texting is not your main.
I cannot deal with the phone like when I was younger.
Right.
I just
what. When I was younger, I was on the phone all the time. You love the phone. You just told everybody you call me 40 times a day.
You're my family. It's different. Family is different. But
you love to talk. You love to talk.
Not as much on the phone anymore. At 6 o'clock, I put my phone down and I don't use it.
I'm not a phone person. Which is ironic because I work on my phone. I just don't love the phone.
Yes, but I don't love the phone anymore.
I totally unwind on the phone with friends at night.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm cleaning up my house, that's like my time. I'll pick up the phone.
I'm a really bad keep in toucher.
No.
I'm not the best keep in toucher, but once you get into a system, a mode of I have certain friends who will call me at that's
at
just
night,
part of our night,
Yeah.
Then it's like part of your cleaning up. It's part of your night.
Right.
Well, at my age, we don't have to discuss carpools anymore. We don't have to discuss, play
but you want to talk about something that happens in your
we don't have to discuss parenting anymore.
Right.
It's really,
what are we going to talk about?
Well, you reduce your entourage becomes a smaller entourage, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And an entourage,
and everybody becomes most people. Become
family.
Your acquaintances,
right. True.
You bump into them, and it's nice to see them, or you have lunch with them once a year or twice a year. And then you have your very close knit,
right? For sure.
people that are with you all the time.
So I do find that as you get older, I mean, I'm much younger than you, Baruch Hashem.
You 100%. I can't wait for Elisheva to be
Ezrat Hashem.
your age, because then you'll be my age.
Hashem. Hashem. No,
and what she's going to have to say.
Right.
But I do find that it is true. Like, as you get older, like, you don't have so much time. So you have all of these friends that are in your peripheral that are your friends that you love and you would love to see.
Right.
But the friends that are in your, like, immediate day-to-day life, those relationships become a little bit realer and also easier as you get older because it's just easier to be an adult. That's
because you get to a point where you really, the people that you choose as your inner circle,
Right.
are people that accept you.
Right. It's scaled down to the most
That
important.
accept you the way you are,
Exactly.
and you them.
Right.
There's
no room for the pettiness anymore.
you just don't have time.
Yeah, there's no time.
You just get
Exactly.
You just get too old
The people that I'm friends with, we can have plans, but if it has to be canceled, we don't care. If this, if that, we talk to each other. Sometimes we won't talk for 2 weeks.
Right.
But
sure.
We're always.
Then you pick up where you left off. Yeah.
Exactly.
Those actually are the best friendships. I
for
find
sure.
that you can not talk for like a few weeks and then you
How
talk,
about
and
you?
it's like
You know what the
nothing.
best friendships are? When you actually go on a vacation with one or two other couples and
No, we're never going to do that.
oh, well, let me tell you. Okay. We have a group of friends that we went away once a year, and we had one rule. You do what you want. I do what I want.
Right.
Dinner is at 8:30.
Okay.
You want to be there, great. You don't, fine.
That's great.
But you guys,
and
first
you know
of all,
what?
it wasn't once a year. It wasn't once a year.
It was.
No, it wasn't. And you and Daddy always went alone together. Like
We always went alone. We do like our alone vacations. I'm a very big believer. You want a good marriage and you want a long marriage, then you want to create that alone time with your husband more than you want to create that alone time with your children. That's very important. But your children are, Yetz Hashem, going to get married and leave.
And not take your phone calls all the time.
And your husband is all that you've got.
Right.
Baruch Hashem.
Right.
So you want to be friends. You want to have a wonderful
company for sure.
Being alone
Cultivate
together.
that relationship.
You want, and you can't cultivate. You can't cultivate that relationship once your children are out of the house.
You can't put it on hold.
You cannot put it on hold.
That's smart.
We went on a date every week. Once a week, we went on a dinner date alone. It could be pizza. It could be fancy. It could be anything. But we had one date a week. And then Motzei Shabbos, we would get in the car and just drive around for a half hour.
Oh, really? That's great.
Yeah, we would. Yes.
Oh, that was the intention. There was no end point. It was just, let's get in the car for a drive.
We'd get in the car. Maybe we'd go get a Hewley, frozen yogurt, or just drive around if we weren't hungry. You know, you're not always hungry Motzei Shabbos.
Right.
So we would just drive around for a half hour just to get out, and be alone, one-on-one. And we did that all the time. And we still love, I think Daddy and I really enjoy our alone time.
That's so nice.
Thank God. That's the ultimate, the ultimate goal, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay. So this question came in, but, I think it's an interesting question. I don't know if it's for this podcast, and I don't know, if I certainly cannot answer this. Husband and wives working together. So my initial instinct was just husbands and wives always work together because you run your home together.
Right, true.
And then the question was how to delegate to your husband without bossing him around.
Wow.
So I thought that was an interesting perspective because I don't know about working with your husband professionally.
I don't recommend it.
Well, you've never worked with Daddy either.
And that's why I don't recommend it.
But you know what? There are some people that do it very well.
Yes,
they do.
Yes. I have a friend that does it extremely well.
And it can be done. I'm just not qualified to answer on that.
Right.
But the piece about the home, I feel is also just a midos and respect.
I was just going to say that the same rule would apply. kicking the respect and kick it up a bunch of notches.
Well,
you know, would you speak disrespectfully to your husband? So what are you? What do you
love
what
that
do you,
guy? No, but the home. No. But the home.
Oh no. Her thing is going to be don't delegate anything to your husband.
No, I would like to learn. That's why I'm sitting here today. This is one of my favorite podcasts because I would love to learn how to delegate, but I'm learning because I've been listening to how he does it. Mm-hmm. We need to clean the pool.
Right.
We
need, and so I do that with him now.
Right.
Okay, so I will say, Ellie usually makes me a cup of coffee in the morning, which is
so
really nice because
it's
I know I don't want to
nice.
tell my mother because I always think like she'll. So when my mother comes and stays, I specifically get up and make the coffee because I thought you would be upset.
You know what, Dad, when we were first married, Dad hated my coffee, so he
that's why Ellie makes my coffee because he doesn't like how I make his coffee.
Oh, okay.
And my coffee is like pretty simple to make. So somehow it just over time morphs into this thing. And I actually find it very like comforting.
It's so
and like
endearing.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
It is.
But sometimes like in the afternoon, he's usually not around because he's in America, whatever. But once in a while when he's in Israel, if he doesn't have time to drive to his office and he like has to take a call, he'll work at home.
Okay.
And sometimes at like 3:00, he'll wander into the kitchen.
Right.
And I'll see him and really he's like, I don't know what he's doing, like just stretching his legs or something.
Right.
And I'll look at him and be like, oh, do you want coffee?
That's a good way to delegate.
No, it's not. He'll say to me, just Ellie, can you please make me coffee?
Well, Daddy says that about
but
me
I feel
also.
so bad that he makes me the coffee to begin with.
But I'm sure he loves to do it.
No, he does. And he doesn't mind at all.
Right.
And I think it makes him happy. Like
Exactly.
He
loves for that to be his job.
Yeah. But so I think that leads into like the last point of delegating, which is like, how do you not feel guilty delegating? Because like I know for me, like that's a big part of it is like I almost feel
how
like
do you ask?
Sometimes I feel guilty.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't have the confidence to ask.
Yes.
And sometimes I feel like, wait, I'm like second guessing myself. Like, why am I delegating that? Maybe I should be doing that. Like, but then I have to remind myself, but I can't do it all. But like, is this
what's
a job?
The big deal of
Like,
asking?
maybe I shouldn't be, I don't know what it is, getting a manicure, even though I actually think manicure is part of my business because if you're a food blogger, like you should have
everyone
nice
sees your hands
are on the thing, whatever. But I also do just like to get a manicure, but like maybe I shouldn't be delegating this and doing that. Maybe I should be doing this and doing that. Like there is an emotional piece to delegating. How do you know if like the delegating, I don't know.
When it becomes too much or when it's inappropriate?
Yeah, or when you should feel guilty or not feel guilty.
Right.
Or
I really think it's just back to the respect.
So my husband says at night sometimes when I say to him, would you mind getting me a bottle of water?
Right.
And he'll say, why are you asking me that way?
Right. Like while you saying it like you feel guilty. Oh, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So how do I know that?
When you ask a question with this like apologeticness, the person senses it and they're like, wait, why is she apologizing?
Maybe I should be.
Maybe I should not want to go get a bottle of water. Like it plays with your head a little bit.
So what would you say?
No, if it's appropriate for you to be asking that question and it makes sense,
then don't apologize.
Yeah, then it's part of your job relationship. It's part of your work relationship.
Can you please get me a bottle of water?
Yeah, do you mind? But say it respectfully. Like, is it okay? Do you mind? Can I put you whatever? But like. Not like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm asking. Sometimes, but yeah,
daddy off.
But sometimes you really do have to apologize. Like sometimes someone will. I just had this the other week. Somebody sent me. She was doing a rush job, and it was a last minute thing. And she said, "I really hope you like this because I pushed myself to do it, and it's last minute." And in that case, like there was one tiny thing that I wanted her to tweak, and I apologized. I said, "I'm so sorry to ask you to do this," because it made sense for me to apologize in that moment because she pushed herself.
And you still had to ask.
And I asked for something very little. I didn't ask for her to redo it, but it was like a small little thing that I asked her to do, and I definitely apologized.
Right.
You have to know when to apologize.
It's appropriate.
Don't like let the ego get in the way and say like, no, I have a right to ask.
Right. But when you do have a right to ask with confidence. There's a difference between asking with confidence and arrogance.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
You could speak confidently and still mention like
Be
a
a
mensch.
mensch. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this was amazing.
This was amazing. I don't know how Daddy's going to
told you
feel
this
because
is why-
now I'm learning how to.
This is why our 5-minute conversations never ends, because she's like a fountain of
No,
wisdom.
our 5-minute conversations don't end because Danielle has so many creative ideas, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, and let's do this and let's do that, and we play off of each other.
It's true.
And it's fun. It's like it's the best.
It's true. We're a very good team because
Yes.
like it really is that kind of relationship. Like we always, I'll start with something, she'll start with something, and then we get something better.
Exactly. That's
It's
what makes
really
it.
nice.
That's why, by the way, everybody, that's why you have to work with people and don't just have your ideas all in your own head.
Have a vision.
Have a vision and trust the people that you work with and play off of them.
I love that.
It's so important. You get something so much better.
I really think, like, I really wish one day, and I always tell her, I wish we could, like, put in print our family table WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Because,
totally.
it's, first of all, the funnest group. Like, it's about food all day and interesting,
Yeah.
and, like, everybody has a personality, and it's,
Right.
and it's also
and you know
really
everyone's
nice.
personality.
And everybody's
everyone's
really
very
nice.
Oh, for sure.
And, like, it's a group of women, and you could have a big group of women, and, like, it can only take one person to, like, sort of, like,
Be competitive or be jealous or something.
It's just the
Right.
group of it's amazing. It
Poo-poo-poo.
is a family table. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
But you really, if you pay attention, you see Chanie's leadership skills shining through, and it's like it's unbelievable.
Well,
it's unbelievable.
management.
Yeah.
Top management.
And I really
is where
like.
it's
I
at.
hope you guys got to see that from her today, because personally, I love working with Chanie and for
Thank you
Chanie,
so
and
much.
I love being part of both teams. They're amazing.
And I learned a lot.
Look at all those notes. Oh my gosh.
Minna has notes. Wait, Mom, smile. We're gonna have to take a picture so that
Okay,
they
but
can
I don't
actually
want them
see
to
this.
really see.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
my
It's from far.
handwriting.
It's from far. It's from far. Okay, I got it. Amazing. Okay, everybody.
Unbelievable.
This was amazing. Such a good episode. I hope you enjoyed as much as me and my mom.
Okay, don't forget to let Peas Loving Carrots know how badly you love Mimic Light Mom as a co-host.
You are the best.
Love you.
Well, she's gonna have to fly to Israel to continue if you want.
Hey, you
so.
pay the ticket, I go.
It was amazing, Chanie. Thank you so
My
much for
pleasure
coming.
for coming.
This was really, really wonderful. And thank you guys so much for listening to Peas in a Podcast Season 2, Episode 3. I'm Danielle from Peas Loving Carrots, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.